A Commonwealth of Thieves. The Improbable Birth of Australia. By Thomas Keneally. Narrated by Simon Vance. Copyright 2006 by Thomas Keneally. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Thomas Keneally and International Creative Management, and was produced in the year 2006 by Tantor Media Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. Book 1. Chapter 1. If, in the new year of 1788, the eye of God had strayed from the main games of Europe, the Americas, Asia, and Africa, and idled over the huge vacancy of sea to the southeast of Africa, it would have been surprised in this empty zone to see not one, but all of 11 ships being driven east on the screaming band of westerlies. This was many times more than the number that had ever been seen here, in a sea so huge and vacant that in today's conventional atlases no one map represents it. The people on the 11 ships were lost to the world. They had celebrated their new year at 44 degrees south latitude with hard salt beef and a few musty pancakes. Their passage was in waters turbulent with gales, roiling from an awful collision between melted ice from the Antarctic coast and warm currents from the Indian Ocean behind them and the Pacific ahead. High and irregular seas broke over the decks continuously, knocking the cattle in their pens off their legs. The travellers knew they were past the rocks of sub-Antarctic Kerguelen Island and were reaching for the dangerous southern capes of Van Diemen's Land, which they intended to round on their way to their destination. What would have intrigued the divine eye was the number of vessels, though they travelled in 2 sections, each division separated from the other by a few hundred miles. So far in the history of Europe, only 6 ships had come into this area, named the Southern Ocean, which lay between the uncharted south coast of New Holland, later to be known as Australia, and Antarctica's massive ice pack. In 1642, a Dutchman, Abel Tasman, a vigorous captain of the Dutch East India Company, had crossed this stretch to discover the island he would name Van Diemen's Land, after his viceroy in Batavia, now Jakarta, but which would in the end be named Tasmania to honour him. His ships, a high-sterned, long-bowed yacht named Heemskerk, and a round-sterned vessel of the variety called a flute, the Zeehan, were of such minuscule tonnage as to be overshadowed by HMS Resolution and HMS Adventure's roughly 400-ton each. These last 2, still tiny vessels by modern standards, less than 1/3 a football.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?